Hi everyone, this is Philip Martin and I've got one shot at this because Dublin here does not do retakes. We don't reshoot anything with Dublin. So this is it. Um, Welcome to June. See ya. See ya. Bye, Dub. All right, let's go downstairs. Oh, all right. Summer movie season, right? Right. Okay. Well, when you got 94% of the nation's theaters still not showing movies, still not open, you don't have much of a much of a summer movie season, do you? We've got interesting, and I say interesting the way you say interesting when you see someone's baby kind of way. Interesting movie opening this week called Mighty Oak, which honestly it is interesting. And honestly, I can see an audience for this. But it's like a lot of these things, I think maybe the story behind it, which I don't quite know, is more interesting than the movie that ends up on the screen. Not that there's anything wrong with the movie that ends on the screen. It's basically a ghost story, a family ghost story. It's about a young lady who is managing her brother's rock and roll band, which is going on the road to great things, and he's snuffed away in the prime of life, or when he's 22 years old or whatever. And 10 years later, she comes across a kid who has a lot of the same attributes as her brother, and he's a talented musician, and he's 10 years old, and it's sort of like, whoa, maybe my spirit of my brother went. And he's got her brother's old guitar ends up with him too, so that's kind of an important plot point. But the plot really isn't the important thing here. It's sort of like if it's one of those things you're supposed to feel good about it, and you're supposed to understand. The lesson you carry away for this is people never really die so long as you remember them, and no longer they live on in your hearts, and that sort of thing. It's a sweet message. Nothing wrong with the movie. It's a Hallmark type TV sort of movie, maybe, with a little bit better production values. What I really liked was that you could tell they filmed it in real places in a kind of small community, small rich community near San Diego called Ocean Beach. The 10-year-old, who's 11-year-old, I guess, now he's 11, I guess they filmed it, he's probably 9, kid who plays the main, well, not the main character, but the main reason for the movie is to show off 11-year-old Tommy Reagan's musical stuff. And I know a little bit about this because even though I'm not terribly invested in Instagram stars and YouTube things, I kind of know that there's a path that's available to young people now to get famous, and it's through YouTube, and it's through. Well, this kid has parents. I'm just going to come out and say it. He's Ray Kroc, the entrepreneur behind the McDonald's franchise, as opposed to the founder of McDonald's, about who Michael Keaton played in a movie a few years ago, is his great-grandfather. So this is a wealthy, privileged kid, which isn't his fault. And, his parents or his family obviously wants him to have the sort of career that he probably wants as a, music guy. He wants to be a music man. He wants to play in bands and stuff. And okay, so this movie's distributed by Paramount, but they have sort of this interesting hands-off kind of strategy for it. I mean, you're not going to see many reviews of it. I'm not going to tell you how I got to see the movie, but thank you. You're not going to see many reviews of it because they're not really promoting it. You can find the trailer online. You can find a website devoted to the movie online that has a lot of promotional stuff, but it's not on the Paramount website itself, which sort of gives it the aura of these sort of not quite ready for prime time faith-based movies. I mean, that are produced basically by, a bunch of people who get together and throw their money in a pot, and then the producer takes the money and makes a movie. It doesn't feel like a studio picture, which I imagine it wasn't. I imagine that Paramount just picked it up to distribute it. And it's sort of being shoved out there in the spotlight as a kind of sacrificial lamb when there's nothing else going on, which is good and bad. Because there's nothing else going on, people like me are going to pay attention to it. And we're going to talk about it, and we're going to write about it. And that's good. But it's also bad because people like me are going to take a look at it. We're going to scrutinize it. We're going to, and for what it is, it's fine. It's a family movie. The kid in it, Tommy Reagan, it's hard to tell whether he's not, as I say in my review, he's not little Stevie Wonder. He's not Michael Jackson. He doesn't have that sort of incandescent, undeniable, indelible talent. He may have lots of talent, and he may really be a big deal at some point. But right now, his songs are mainly going to appeal to his own cohort. Kids. It's a kid's movie. It's a kid's movie because it stars a kid in this sort of wishful kind of thing. It's like the kid goes to the big leagues, okay? It's analogous to that sort of movie. Like, this kid invents a pitch and goes to the big leagues, and he's like an 11-year-old guy striking out Alex Rodriguez. That's the sort of movie it is. And there's nothing wrong with that sort of movie. And if you really need to get out of the house, or you have kids that might be interested in this, just don't go expecting A Star is Born, or, I don't know, even something that it's not being sold as a kid's movie, but it's a kid's movie. That's what I'm trying to say. It's PG-13, but it's not going to appeal to many people beyond that cohort. But I'm not going to be cynical enough. I'm not cynical enough to bash on the movie for its message or anything, because it's fine. It's just that it's not the sort of thing that would normally get any attention in the summer movie season. It wouldn't. If it was released at all, it'd be released like in February, under the radar sort of thing. A chance to, then maybe it'll find a following. Maybe it'll go to, video and make a little money, whatever. I don't understand the business of this stuff exactly. I just know that for the most part, people don't start out to make a bad movie, but it's hard to make a good movie. And on the other hand, there are some people who cynically start out to make a bad movie because they think you people will see it, and they're right. But those aren't the small independent type productions like this, like Mighty Oak. Mighty Oak is, an earnest movie. I hesitate to say it's a good movie because the script is, the writing's kind of, and the general level of performances, it could be, things I like about it, but there are things that, I recognize the limited appeal of it. So, we're starting to see things like that come out. And who knows, maybe in a month and a week and a few days, we will get Tenet. I don't know. Right now, maybe not. Maybe it'll be pushed back. As long as theaters are shut down, we're not going to get much. And that's both good and bad for pictures like Mighty Oak, because otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it. But anyway. The other thing I kind of want to talk about today, and I feel sort of bad about this because our buddy, our friend, our faithful correspondent, Dan Liebarger, fell down, went boom this weekend. Broke his hip. Yeah, ended up in the hospital. The good news is they tested him and he doesn't have the COVID. I ain't got the COVID. Don't have the COVID, yay. That's a terrible way to find out, though, is to break your hip and go in the hospital. Last place I want to be is in the hospital right now. I'm trying not to break my leg or anything because that's the sort of thing I do. Dan get better, but because Dan got fall down, go boom, we missed an opportunity. Well, I think we're going to miss the opportunity. We'll see if some last second heroics come through. To talk to Mickey Gilley. And Mickey Gilley, yes! Who is what? Cousins with Jerry Lee Lewis and cousins with Jimmy Swaggart, and had Gilley's, the nightclub that I actually went to in like 79 and 80. Actually, I was part of that urban cowboy thing, even though I would go there wearing, button-down shirts and topsiders. Really, I did. I used to do that. Because that's what I wore, and it's still pretty much what I wear. But I would really have liked to have that in this section, but we don't get it. We don't get it. If we get it later, maybe we'll get it later. But Dan couldn't do it because, like I said, he fall down, go to boom. And you can't do stuff after you do that because you got to take care of yourself, self-care. But the 40th anniversary of Urban Cowboy is coming up. I think the movie is actually released. The Blu-ray was actually released this week. It's so hard for me to keep up with this stuff now because one of the reasons it's so hard for me to keep up is that our mail is sort of disrupted. I mean, it's sort of like not in the mail, not the U.S. Postal Service. I mean, it's like studios aren't sending out stuff like they used to. So it's not like I'm getting things in the, and I don't know exactly why. I guess it's because they're like everybody else. They have, sent everybody home for the COVID, so they don't have people to mail out stuff, or they don't have people to get this stuff ready. Anyway, I was hoping, I think that Urban Cowboy is actually, the 40th anniversary is actually today, which is June 2nd, because I'm speaking to you people of the future. But I haven't seen Urban Cowboy in such a long time. But I don't need to. I lived it. And I saw it when it came out, and I remember I went to it. It's sort of meta. I mean, because it wasn't just Gilley's, it was other clubs. There were a lot of clubs around Little Rock. And in Shreveport, we had, what was it? Now I'm going to make a liar of myself. Something like the Midnight Cowboy, something. It was something cowboy. It was this big neon, barn where you went in. They even had bucking machines at some of my favorite bars down on the square, which was weird because those were smaller bars. And I don't know, those bucking machines. Did I ever ride one? Not sober. Nope. I may have ridden one, but not that you could blame me for. Nope. But anyway, it's really fascinating sort of archaeological thing to think about Urban Cowboy and think about there was a time when we actually dressed like that and actually did those things, Plus it's, a lovely Deborah Winger performance, and we're all in on lovely Deborah Winger performances. And as bizarre as it seems, there's John Travolta as whatever his name is. The oil field worker, whose name I don't recall. But everybody wanted to be, John Travolta. I guess some people wanted to be Deborah Winger. Whatever, I mean, it's odd to be able to look back 40 years to anything, and some of you will find that out. But that's a real part of it's not a part of my movie-going history that I discuss a lot. It's not the sort of film I talk about a lot, because it's not like Saturday Night Fever, which is actually what it is. It's Saturday Night Fever transposed into the key of Honky Tonk, or the early 1980 version of Honky Tonk, and it probably was exactly that specific. Early 1980, probably March 1980. That's probably the period. And I haven't seen it again, so I don't know. And I haven't read the notes. I have it right here. See, Urban Cowboy. But I haven't read that, so I don't know exactly what the notes are, but that's just the release information. So, but anyway, I'm hoping to get that DVD this week. I hope it shows up because, well, they were supposed to send it to me because we were going to interview Mickey Gilley. And I really would Mickey Gilley's got to be, what, 80? 80-something? I mean, he's got to be as old as Jerry Lee, doesn't he? Maybe not quite. Jimmy Swaggart, Jerry Lee, and Mickey Gilley. phenomenal, lineage there, and somebody needs to make an HBO miniseries about those guys, and you could fiction it up a little bit. I could help you. Enough. What else in the way of movies? Well, I'm still really caught up in the HBO stuff. I have not got HBO Max on my TV yet. I've got it on my iPad. It just switched over magically. But it's not on the TV. And I don't know if I have to do something or not, because it's like this Roku TV that I don't really, know that much about. I've had it for a year now, but I still don't know exactly how this sort of thing works. But it doesn't update automatically or something? Or maybe it did. Maybe it has. Maybe it just didn't do it the last time I looked at the TV. I don't know. But, so now I've got HBO Max. I've got everything except Disney Plus, whatever that is. Everything else I've got. I mean, I've got Criterion, which is great. I've got Acorn, which, when you need it, you need it. I've got Sundance, which is bizarre, and I love it. And, Karen really is into this restaurant thing, which is really... So, and, of course, Showtime, which, thank God, Homeland's finally over. Thank God Homeland is finally gone. HBO, Netflix, of course, Amazon Prime, of course, and Hulu, of course. So, I'm probably spending as much or more than I would if I had a cable package. So we're right back there. We cut the cord a couple of years ago, but we're right back where we were, in terms of income outflow sort of stuff. I mean, in the bad news, not bad news, but the new news is that it's tax deductible, but it doesn't matter because the new tax system, the new tax code, makes all that stuff sort of irrelevant. I still am paying more than I used to, but I don't complain. I don't complain about paying taxes because that means I'm making the jingle. We're going to try to keep these a little shorter, like around 20 minutes, just because 20 minutes is probably a good time to visit. If you have any suggestions or feedback, feel free to leave a comment below. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, whether you're watching it on my channel or on the Arkansas Democrat Gazette's channel or on my blog, Blood, Dirt, and Angels. That's my Twitter handle. I always need more Twitter followers because I get paid by the follower, as we all do these days. Not really, but it's a good boost to have real followers and not robot followers. And if you're watching this and you've watched it this long, I'm pretty sure you're not a robot. Pretty sure. And as the world burns around us, I guess we're going to keep on keeping on. We are going to hold to this schedule. I might add an on books to the video complement of stuff we do. I'm going to keep writing on books because that makes sense. And I think I'm right. And I am writing an on-film column this week, too. So don't get confused. If you're watching this, there's also an on-film column in the newspaper that has nothing to do with this. And if you're reading the never mind. Anyway, guys, take care. Be good to each other. And we'll see you, next week. All right. Peace. And Dan, get better. We need you. We need you on that wall.